David Farmhouse, presidential candidate. Campaign number 3. I've done 2 more. Did 2 yesterday. This is the 3rd one today. A lot of the stuff I repeat. Sometimes I don't remember what I said. Not the best memory. But anyway, you're not electing me. You're electing the ideas, what I want to put forth in my election. Right over here it says, freedom is not free. And it isn't. But our soldiers have paid for it a lot in the past. And we really haven't got it yet. That's like we're still working for it. The 1% that got money or property, and the 99% still working for it. And they really haven't got it. The government can print money, and they're trying to get money from people. People can't print money, and the government can print money, and they're trying to get the money that they're printing from the people that can't print it. That really don't make any sense. When you want to build a house and you go to the bank and you borrow it, you've got the money. Okay, if I want to borrow money and I go to the bank and borrow, I have the money until I pay it off. And after I pay it off, I no longer have the money, but I still have the interest. If a group of people want to build a mall, they borrow. Most of them borrow money from the bank, and when they pay that mall off, they no longer have the money. If a construction worker builds a mall, and when they pay the mall off, he no longer has the money. But when he goes and buys a hamburger, when he's building a mall, the people that work at McDonald's have the money for the hamburger until, and it's in circulation until they pay the loan off. So the whole country runs on borrowed money. I want to change that kinda to the point where, although it's kinda like borrowed money, but we never pay it off. During a war, I don't think we paid off World War II or World War I. Britain never paid us back. We just sort of swept that money under the rug. We never really paid anybody back because we didn't borrow it from anybody, because nobody had any money. That money came from nowhere. I want to get this money from nobody. We had a Department of War. I want to have a Department of Peace. I'm sort of repeating myself, and I do that a lot in these ads. You'll find that out. But I want to have a Department of Peace, and that's like soldiers. You retire at whatever age you went in, but you only have to work 20 years, and if you get a disability, you get your card, the same as being retired. If you get like a wounded arm, if we can spend $1 million on a plane, we can spend $1 million on an artificial arm or a wheelchair, or your car that your wheelchair will drive up into, and your car will drive up into your home, and you can get out of your car and drive it up into your house and never leave a temperature-controlled room, and your wife can get paid to take care of you, and we can afford it. This money will come from nowhere. That's like, and I said it on the ad before this, in times of war, you can't afford not to win a war. If you lose the war, you're sunk. No matter how much it costs, you can't afford not to win a war, no matter how much it costs. In times of peace, you pretty much can't afford not to fix a pothole in front of your house, or not to run that city that has got the lead in their water lines. It ought to be the same way as a war. We pretty much can't afford not to fix it, no matter how much it costs. And it shouldn't have to come from people, because people can barely afford to take care of themselves. And the government really should just be able to, supply the money. And I want to have a debit card or a credit card or whatever you want to call it, where when you work at McDonald's 60-40, when you get done working at the end of the day, the money's put in the bank and you spend the money off the card. You would spend the money off the card to be loaded on the card, and wherever you went, you'd take the money out. You wouldn't carry that large amount of money in your pocket. Nobody'd be able to knock you over your head and knock you in the head and take it. It would probably have a fingerprint identification or a code word where they wouldn't be able to take it. And so that's like cop cars. I'm thinking the Bloomington plant, it's on an earlier commercial, where they could build a bigger cop car in an empty auto plant or build a whole new cop car plant. And I'm saying cop, that's not polite. But where the doors are bigger, where they can get in and out of the door with all sorts of equipment on them. Some of them would be a little healthier, with a camera and everything they need. When they got out, the battery detached, recording it with a camera, and the belt, the seat would match the equipment that's on them, and the roof would be high enough for any camera to be up on the roof. There'd be cameras all the way around the car, and any equipment anybody could think of that they'd need. And there'd be more towers around it, so when the car's driving down the road, bad people wouldn't be able to watch them, but there'd be good people that'd be elected by good people, not necessarily the cops, but sometimes the cops aren't good, but there'd be citizens that'd be a good quality that could elect boards to watch the cops, because sometimes, it's like that guy up in Chicago, they're trying to get him out of office and we can't even do it. So there's going to have to be a way that people can elect somebody to watch the cops. So there's got to be a way to watch the cops, that the people that's watching the cops can't say you can't do it. But, and while we're watching them, there's got to be other people that can't. Because there's people that shouldn't watch them. But anyway, there's got to be more cell towers up here just for cops. So if the cop's 20 miles away from the home base, they can relay the signal of the cop car driving around with GPS, so he can know where he's going in case of emergencies, and he can find where he's going and not have to worry about getting lost. And with a big enough door he can get in and out of. And that's just on cops. And $400 an hour, 60-40, 40% to pay for the equipment. Well, we wouldn't really have to worry about 40% pay for the equipment, because it just automatically being a given, it'd get paid for. Because it'd be something we'd need. Like ambulance around the hospital, doctors $700 an hour, but that's a given. It's a hospital, it's something we need. That's like during times of war. In a war, it's a given. If you need it to defend yourself during a war, it's a given. You get what you need to defend yourself. That's like the interstates. It was a given. America needed the interstates. And the president voted to, pass a bill to build the interstates. It was a given. We needed it. But and that's what that's what you're voting for in me if you were to vote for me. I'm only going to get elected in Illinois. That's the only place I sent things to each courthouse, 102 courthouses, I think, where if you vote for me in Illinois, it'll count. Illinois is the only state where there's like a ballot in each thing for a write-in. In Illinois, if you vote my name on a write-in ballot, my vote will count. My name will count, but I didn't do it in any other state. But in Illinois, my vote will count, so you can still do it in other states, but it won't count because I didn't know how to do it, and I couldn't find the information in time. But in the state of Illinois, if you vote for me in Illinois, my vote will count, and I won't get elected, but just to make a statement. If you want to make a statement that in times of war, You spend as much money as you need to win the war. In times of peace, you have a Department of Peace, and you spend as much money for like that city, and you don't necessarily have to take it away from somebody. In times of World War II, we spent as much money as we had to win World War II. But we didn't take it from anybody. After the war was over, we just sort of picked the rug up and swept it underneath the rug and went doo-doo-doo-doo. And we didn't pay any more attention to it. All them boats that went to the bottom that nobody could afford, nobody afforded it. Everybody got paid and went along their merry ways. Well, this is the end of this. 10 minutes. Bye. David Formall, presidential candidate. Probably won't get elected, but I'd appreciate your vote. You're not voting for me. You're voting for my ideas. That's just a little short one. Bye.